recapping another busy week of prep sports. It's High School Sports Talk on ESPN Radio 94.1.
We thank you for spending your Memorial Day weekend with us here on High School Sports Talk, presented by VirginiaPreps.com on ESPN Radio 94.1. Matt Hatfield flying solo in the main room here today, as the coach, Ed Young, is not with us today on assignment. At this time, though, we have a special guest with us. He is the third-year head softball coach of the Churchland Truckers, who I believe check in at 13-6 overall. Got a game coming up on Monday in the Regional 4A softball tournament against their Portsmouth rival, Woodrow Wilson. We say good morning and congrats on a great season thus far to Coach Matt Arrington. Coach, how's your weekend going so far?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on. How's y'all's weekend going?
Doing well. Can't complain. Pleasure having you on the program. I think I got 13-6 the record for your team going into the regional game?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, let's go through this if we can. And we had you on about a year or two ago, I know. Give us some of your background. We know you're in year 3 at the helm of the program, but where you went to school, high school, college days, how you got into coaching, taking us up to your current situation now with this Churchland program. Yeah,
so I got into coaching, coaching our kids over at the Little League right across the street from the high school. And my assistant coach is with me now. The group of girls we have at the high school, we were coaching them, back when they were 9, 10, 11 years old, and just working their way up. Then a couple of years ago, I got a call from a couple of the parents saying that the varsity softball coach at the high school was looking to step down. So they wanted somebody to step up and take that role over. So I thought that'd be a good fit for me since we were doing so well, with the younger group. So go ahead and get in the high school at the varsity level while I could. And then as our girls got older and made it up that way, then hopefully we would be successful when they got there, and that's how it turned out so far.
Did you know pretty early on that you wanted to get into coaching, or did it something that just kind of come to you spur of the moment as you got done with the school days?
Nah, just spur of the moment. And my assistant coach is the same way. I mean, we both played when we were younger. And then, when you have kids and they start getting up and start competing, you want to help them as best as you can. So coaching, it came kind of naturally to me since we were used to competing anyway. So.
What's been the key to this program being consistently able to contend the last couple of years? I know before your arrival, Churchland softball had not really been as strong. What would you attribute the success to?
The group of girls that we have, there's 7 of them that are on the team right now that they've been playing together since they were, 10, 11 years old. And over the last 3 years since I've been at the high school, we've been doing a lot of off-season conditioning. So we'll keep rolling even when, softball season is over. We do workouts 3 or 4 times a week. And also this past fall season was the first time we had enough girls interested in putting together a fall softball team where we would go out and play against some of the local schools. So that helped some of our younger girls who haven't had that varsity experience yet. That helped them a whole lot, get used to playing that level of competition before the season got here.
We're chatting with Matt Arrington, the third-year head softball coach of the Churchland Truckers in Portsmouth, 13-6 on the season. They've won 5 of their last 6 games as they head into the regional tournament, taking on their city rival Wilson coming up on Monday. It's High School Sports Talk presented by VirginiaPreps.com on ESPN Radio 94.1. We'll take a closer examination of your matchup with the Presidents coming up here, Coach. But what time is that game on Monday for people that want to go out and check it out?
1 p.m.
Okay, so 1 o'clock in the afternoon, go out there, get you a burger or a dog, and watch the action. What's that?
At Churchland High School.
It'll be at Churchland High School, so you get a chance to host in the regional tournament. What seed are you by chance?
4. We're the 4 seed.
You're the 4 seed, so if you move on there, you could see potentially the number 1 seed. Let's review your year here for a second. I know early on you took some losses to Gloucester, Lakeland, no slouches, but then you started to hit a hot streak. What was kind of the big turnaround for your team after the slow start, and what got you going? Was it more the offense, the pitching, a little bit of both?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. So starting the season, so our starting pitcher from last year, she missed the first 5 games of this season due to an injury.
Okay.
So we were kind of, shuffling around trying to figure out who was going to be our go-to pitcher when she was out. Of course, anytime you have to, replace the pitcher, that also takes away from your defense. So our pitchers that had been pitching was our starting, third baseman and our starting shortstop. So it kind of pulled away from our defense a little bit. And also hitting. We struggled early on trying to find the right lineup. who's going to be our leadoff, who's going to back clean up, who can help turn the batting order at the bottom of the lineup. So we struggled a little bit until we finally hit our groove, and everyone got settled into where they would be playing, where they would be at in the lineup, and then we got on the roll from there.
Playing some larger classification schools, I'll look at your schedule here, and you play within your district in the Eastern District, the likes of Granby and Maury, you have to, and Norview, they're all either 6s or 5s, but you even played some teams outside the Eastern District with Princess Anne and Salem, who are also Class 5, Cox, who's Class 6. So you scheduled some good competition throughout. Did that help your team as you went on this journey, and do you think it'll also translate to the playoffs here coming up?
Yeah, it helped us out a lot, and I'm hoping it'll translate to this regional playoff round. We get a lot of flack. The Eastern District isn't as strong as it used to be. So I try to schedule out of conference or out of district, as tough as I can. So in the Eastern District, we had to play Granby twice. I had to play Maury twice, Norview twice. Those are some bigger schools. But, out of district, we scheduled against Kempsville. We played them really well. Lost a tough game to them. We played, Cox, Princess Anne, Gloucester, Salem, as you mentioned. So I try to get as tough of a schedule as I can, and luckily we were able to win most of those games this year.
As a coach, do you like that setup where you're kind of required to play teams in your district twice? And what's the allotment? I think that you're allowed to play, is it 20 games maximum for a season, regular season?
Yeah, that's correct. 20 games max. We try to get there, had some scheduling conflicts. One of the teams in our district actually didn't even have a team this year. So, we were scrambling, trying to find other teams,
That's
to
right.
play us.
Yeah.
Once the season starts, it's hard to get a hold of another solid program to play because they're usually already booked up. But so that kind of hurt us to where we couldn't get that 20th game scheduled. But, we played enough competition to where, I feel, we're right at where we need to be. So we should be good going into Monday.
Well, let me get your take about. We'll get to your players here in a second in this matchup with Wilson, talking with Matt Arrington, the head softball coach of the Churchland Truckers, with us here on High School Sports Talk, presented by VirginiaPreps.com on ESPN Radio 94.1. Not trying to put your feet to the fire, but I'm just curious for your opinion and thoughts. Do you like that 20-game maximum? Would you like to see it increase, decrease, and anything you'd like to see in the sport around here changed or addressed?
Yeah, as a coach, I always want to play more. I play 40, 50 games if they would let me. But yeah, and our season is kind of short too, We usually start around the second or third week of March, and then they try to wrap it up, right before, school lets out. So it kind of, the short couple of months, the 2.5 months that you have to, to schedule all your games and to get your practices in, it's a tight time frame to get all that. And plus, being an outside sport, you're at the mercy of Mother Nature, dealing with, weather, inclement weather and all that. So, it would be nice to extend the season a couple of weeks, but that's not my decision to make.
Understand completely here. Well, let's talk about some of these young ladies who have contributed to your 13 wins and counting. Pitchers, hitters, and any with college potential for you, be it seniors or underclassmen, that you'd like to highlight for us.
Yeah, I have a senior that I would definitely like to get out there, Mackenzie Vick. She's got a couple, small offers from smaller schools, but we kind of get looked over. Being that we're in the Eastern District. But, I just hope that, us scheduling this strong out-of-conference play against these bigger schools, and we go out there, and, she's been killing it this season. She's a 4-year varsity player. For her 4-year batting average is over 550, and this year is 597. Yeah, right under 600. She's got 4 or 5 home runs again this year. She has a hit in every single game we play this year. So in 19 games, she's got 40 base hits, and she's got at least 1 hit in every single game.
She's got to be up for some postseason awards, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Her slugging average is over 1,000. On base percentage is right at 700. She's averaging one strikeout every 19 at bats. So that's not pretty bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good there. Who else besides Mackenzie has been a factor for you?
So we had some of our younger girls step up, in that. So I have 4 seniors. I don't have any juniors on my team. So we have a very young team. In the outfield, we have a center fielder. She also runs track for the track team. Her name is Kira Stanley. She qualified for, states in the fall in the track team. So she's, in the 4x800. So, when she gets on base, she's burning them up on base. In the outfield, she runs down everything in the outfield for us. And then, like I say, our starting pitcher wasn't able, to go the first 4 or 5 games this season, and then she struggled getting back. And so we had 2 younger girls step in, 2 freshmen, Caitlin Covey, which is Mackenzie's little sister, and then Kyla Arrington, who stepped up. And, they've been pitching, most of the games for us. So anytime our starting pitcher can't go, she's starting off a little rough, we bring in either Caitlin or Kyla to get us through the games. And, I mean, they did a terrific job this year stepping up on short notice. You
mentioned Kyla Arrington. Any relation?
Yeah, that's she's mine. She's my daughter.
Okay. How's that for you as a dad and coach? Has it been a learning process, stressful, totally enjoy it, no problem at all? How would you evaluate it?
Nah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I've been doing it long enough. I mean, she might think I'm a little bit, too tough on her, but I try to treat all of them the same. So most of these girls I've been coaching for the last, I've only been at the high school for 3 years, but prior to that, like I say, I was coaching. And 8 of these girls, have been, under either myself or my assistant coach for the last 7 years. So, I mean, we're pretty much like a family, so we get along really well.
That's great. Couple more minutes here with Matt Arrington, the head softball coach of the Churchland Truckers, who checked in at 13-6 overall after their season finale win over Booker T. Washington 23-6, and they'll be playing host to Wilson going out there Monday at 1 o'clock at Churchland High School in the Region 4A softball tournament. It's High School Sports Talk presented by VirginiaPreps.com on ESPN Radio 94.1. If I see it correctly, Coach, you split with Wilson this year, doubled them up 10-5 back on April the 3rd. Just lost to them 3-1 back here on the 15th of May 10 days ago. Your thoughts on the matchup and what does Wilson present to your team challenge-wise?
Yeah, I mean, so anytime you play a rival, it's always a tough game, regardless, if it's high scoring or low scoring. The energy's always there. The other team is always in it. We're always in it, battling back and forth on the field, the fans. I mean, it's a pretty rowdy game anytime we get together. So it'll definitely be, a show for anybody who plans on coming out and watching. And as you say, we played them twice, split with them. Had a little rough. So at the end of the season, we hit I don't want to say our wall, but we had the last 2 weeks of the season, we were playing, I think it was 8 games in the last 2 weeks. It took a toll on us. Not to use that as an excuse for our girls because we're always ready. But, I mean, hopefully we'll come out swinging the bat a little bit better on Monday. And it should be a good game for anybody who wants to come watch.
Yeah, and this too, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, softball, you name it. Sometimes when there's a possibility of playing a team in the first round of the playoffs or in postseason play and you end the season with them or one of your last game or two, sometimes a coach doesn't always show his hand. So I imagine you and your girls, as well as their girls, knew there was a possibility you could see them a third time.
Yeah, that's correct. You got that, hit that right on the head.
Well, Coach, we wish you and your squad all the best. Congrats on the great year so far. Going out there 1 o'clock in Portsmouth at Churchland High School to be Churchland and Wilson for the softball Region 4A tournament. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk again soon, all right?
All right, thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Matt Arrington, our guest here on High School Sports Talk, presented by VirginiaPreps.com, the head softball coach of the Churchland Lady Truckers. 13-6 on the year, having a fine season, and look to advance in the region tournament if they can defeat Wilson on Monday.